Hi, Mr. Lindstrom. This is my 4.4 redo video. So, question 1 is asking, using sketchnotes, explain what services banks provide customers. Banks provide services that help people store, move, and grow their money. The first one, they store the money. They keep your money safe in accounts like checking and savings. Secondly, there's payments. Banks help you pay for things using debit cards, checks, or online payments. The third one is loans. They lend money so people can buy things like houses, cars, or pay for school. The fourth one is interests. Banks pay you interest for saving money, helping it grow over time. The fifth one is transfers. Banks let you send and receive money between accounts or to other people. And then the last one is security. So banks protect your money and personal information from theft or fraud. Question 2 is asking, using sketchnotes, explain the money multiplier effect and how banks create money through loans. The money multiplier effect is the process where banks create new money by lending out a portion of deposits, which then get redeposited and loaned again, multiplying the initial money supply. It shows how a $1 deposit can generate multiple dollars of deposits in this banking system. The equation for the money multiplier is 1 over the reserve ratio. For question 3, it asks, assume that a depositor withdraws $4,000 from Otis Bank. So this is just a simple bank balance sheet I made from Otis Bank. And it's asking what's the initial change in the M1 money supply if $4,000 are deposited. So the initial money supply would stay the same because it only changes the composition of the money supply, not the total amount. It then asks if the reserve requirement is 10%, what would be the maximum change in the money supply? So to find this, you need to times the reserve ratio, which is 0.1, and then times the demand deposits, which is 5,000. So if we do that, 0.1 times 5,000 equals 500. And then this 500 number, that gives us our current required reserves. And to find the change in money supply, we need to find the excess reserves. So that would be the total reserves minus the required reserves. So the total reserves, which is 800, minus the required reserves, which we just found, would be 500. So that means there is a change in money supply of $300. The next question is asking, assume that Otis Bank cannot meet its required reserve amount at the end of the day. Name 2 possible actions it can take to avoid insolvency. So the first one would be to borrow from other banks. So some banks have extra money, so they can just lend it overnight, and that helps the bank meet its requirement quickly. Or they could borrow from the central bank. That's like if they can't borrow from the other banks, it can borrow from the central bank. So it's like a backup option. The last thing it asks is fully explain why the central bank requires banks to hold a portion of deposits. This is so they can give their people money when they ask for it, to keep the bank system safe and stable, and to help control how much money banks lend in the economy.